Settle into a quieter space now, somewhere where the world feels far away and the night feels soft around you. Let your breath fall into a slower rhythm, easing in gently, easing out without any effort at all. You're safe here, wrapped in stillness, drifting on the edge of sleep. Wherever you are right now, whether you're in bed, resting on a soft couch, or nestled somewhere peaceful, let your body settle. Let your mind soften. From which corner of the world are you drifting off tonight? Wherever that place may be, this moment is for you alone, a gentle pause where everything can loosen and fade, like light dissolving into dusk. Allow yourself to rest here, held by calm words and the soft rhythm of imagination. Imagine yourself standing beside a quiet river just before sunrise. The sky is still dusky, painted with deep blue shadows that stretch across the water like long, tender brush strokes. The air is cool against your skin, carrying the scent of wet stone and fresh earth. You hear the faintest whisper, the river drifting past, its surface gliding smoothly, without urgency, without sound. Water has been moving this way for millions of years, shaping valleys, softening rock, smoothing sharp edges into gentle curves. As you stand there, you may feel that ancient patience settling into you, as though the river is reminding you that nothing in nature ever rushes. Everything unfolds softly in its own time, and perhaps you notice your thoughts beginning to drift too, gliding as quietly as the current. Imagine dipping your fingers beneath the surface of the water. It's cool, almost silky, slipping around your hand with tender ease. You feel tiny grains of sand move past your fingertips, little travelers from distant mountains, carried for years through hidden streams and winding channels. Each grain has its own story, its own slow journey through time. Water guides them not through force, but through gentle persistence. Have you ever wondered how something so soft can reshape entire landscapes? Maybe strength doesn't always look like pressure. Maybe it sometimes looks like patience. Let that thought settle into you like a pebble resting at the bottom of a pool, unmoving yet perfectly at peace. If your mind starts to wander here, let it. You don't need to hear every word. Picture a river at dawn, when mist rises in a delicate veil above its surface. The mist feels cool and fine as you walk into it, brushing against your cheeks like faint breaths of air. It smells of new beginnings, earthy, damp, and clean. This gentle haze forms when warm water meets cool morning air, creating tiny droplets that hang suspended in silence. Long ago, people believed these soft veils were the river's breath, rising to greet the day. And maybe there's truth in that. The river seems alive in the stillness, aware somehow, patient and observant. What if the river itself holds memories? What if every ripple is a quiet echo of all the moments it has carried? As you breathe in this scene, notice how your body softens further, how the edges of your thoughts begin to blur like the mist around you. There's no need to stay alert. You can drift whenever you're ready. Imagine walking along a gentle bank where tall grasses sway lightly in the breeze. The soft rustle blends with the hush of water gliding past stones. Dragonflies dart above the surface, their wings shimmering faintly in the early light. Each movement feels delicate, unhurried. Rivers shape everything they touch. They smooth stones, carve channels, soften shorelines. They do not rush, yet they transform the world. Do you notice how calm persistence can be more powerful than force? Feel the cool ground beneath your feet, slightly damp, giving softly with your weight. Hear the quiet rhythm of the current. Let each sound lull you deeper into stillness. Perhaps you're already halfway asleep. That's perfect. You don't need to hold on to anything here. Picture the earliest beginning of a river, high up in the mountains where snow melts under the warmth of sunlight. Tiny droplets slide down smooth ice, joining with others until they form a small trickling thread. The air is crisp here, thin and cold, carrying the faint scent of pine and stone. Every river begins as something small, almost fragile, and yet these soft beginnings gather strength as they flow, becoming streams, then rushing paths, then deep channels that carve their way across entire continents. What if your own thoughts work the same way, gently forming, gathering, becoming something steady in time? Imagine standing at that mountain edge now, watching the first drop fall. It's okay if your eyelids feel heavy. You don't need to stay awake. Have you ever wondered why the sound of flowing water feels so calming? Researchers once studied this gentle effect and found that steady, soothing rhythms, like water gliding over stones, encourage the brain to relax, almost as though the mind instinctively recognizes the safety of slow patterns. But long before science explored it, people rested beside rivers simply because it felt natural. Imagine hearing that soft movement now, the faint trickle, the gentle swirl, the quiet splash as water brushes past a fallen leaf. These sounds don't demand attention, they simply exist, present, consistent, like a heartbeat in the distance. As you imagine them, notice the rhythm inside you slowing to match, thoughts fading like ripples dissolving in the current. You can let yourself drift if you want to. You don't need to hear the rest. Imagine twilight settling over a peaceful riverbank. Fireflies hover above the surface, tiny lights flickering like distant stars brought close. The air feels warm, carrying the subtle smell of damp grass and cool water. The river reflects the sky's colours, soft lavender, fading gold, the first deep hues of night. Ancient stories once described rivers as pathways for dreams, drift routes between the waking world and realms unseen. Perhaps you felt that strange clarity near water, the sense that the mind opens when the world grows still. What if the river is simply mirroring that inward quiet? As you breathe gently, notice how easily your thoughts float away, how softly your body settles toward rest. There's no need to stay awake. Let yourself fade with the fading light. Imagine a time long ago when travelers followed rivers as natural guides. These winding paths carried them through forests, across wide plains, and toward distant coastlines. Rivers offered water, food, direction, and comfort. At night, travelers rested along the banks, wrapped in the scent of wet soil and grass warmed by the day. A small fire crackled softly beside them, its glow blending with the shimmer of reflected stars. The river's constant murmur became part of their stories, stories whispered as embers drifted upward, dissolving into the dark. Imagine that quiet now, the slow breathing of the night, the rustle of leaves stirred by gentle air, the faint chorus of insects, and beneath it all, the steady flow of the river carrying secrets downstream. If you find your attention fading, let it. You don't need to remember everything. Picture yourself dipping your hand into a river beneath a moonlit sky. The water feels cooler now, almost silky as it slips through your fingers. Above you, the moon casts a pale glow across the surface, creating soft patterns of silver light that drift with the current. Some rivers, in rare places, contain tiny organisms that glow faintly when disturbed, bioluminescent sparks that shimmer in the dark. Imagine that light now, gentle and blue, glowing like underwater stars. Each pulse is caused by microscopic life, reacting tenderly to movement. It's as if the river is breathing light, dreaming in colour. Have you ever wondered what the earth dreams about? Maybe this is one of its quiet visions, light floating through darkness, soft and alive. Let that image pull you deeper into warmth, deeper into ease. Imagine walking through a river valley shaped over thousands of years. The cliffs on either side rise in smooth curves, worn down by the patient movement of water. You can feel the cool shade of the canyon walls, smell the faint mineral scent of stone. Rivers carve these paths slowly, almost imperceptibly. Time is their silent companion. Imagine placing your hand against one of those ancient surfaces, smooth from centuries of touch, cool beneath your palm. Perhaps you notice how still everything feels here, how the world seems to pause. And maybe you feel yourself pausing too, settling into the same slow rhythm that shaped this valley. You might even feel your mind drifting into that ancient stillness without trying. That's exactly right. Imagine small ripples floating outward from where a single leaf touches the river's surface. Each ring widens quietly, gently, fading into the whole. This subtle movement happens again and again, everywhere at once. Fish gliding beneath the surface, wind brushing across the water, stones shifting slightly over time. Every tiny motion becomes part of something larger. And just like those ripples, your thoughts can drift outward too, spreading softly until they dissolve into calm. If your eyes feel heavy, let them close. You don't need to stay with every word. Perhaps you're already drifting, and that's perfect. Imagine standing barefoot at the river's edge, the soft mud pressing lightly between your toes. The water washes over your feet with a gentle, cool touch. You feel connected to something deeper, something ancient, something patient. Rivers have always been paths of life. Animals come to drink, plants grow thicker near their edges, and whole ecosystems depend on their slow, steady flow. You can sense that quiet vitality around you now, as though life hums softly beneath the surface. Hear the faint rustle of reeds as tiny creatures move within them. Smell the earthy scent of wet soil warmed by the sun. Let these sensations wrap around you like a soft blanket. Let your mind dissolve into them. There's no need to stay awake if your thoughts want to drift away. Imagine now that the river widens into a broad, gentle expanse. The far shore looks distant, blurred by soft evening light. The water here moves slower, almost as though it's resting. Light dances across the surface in delicate patterns, shimmering, shifting, never repeating. You feel a faint breeze sweep across your skin, carrying the coolness of open water. Somewhere in the distance you hear a quiet splash, perhaps a fish breaking the surface before disappearing again. The air smells of water and green plants, clean and calming. As you take in this scene, the world inside you quiets. Thoughts soften, memories loosen their hold, worries dissolve like silt drifting downstream. Let yourself rest in that stillness. Let everything else fade. Picture small stones lying beneath the water, smooth, polished, each one shaped through centuries of movement. Imagine picking one up and turning it in your hand. It feels cool and solid, its surface worn down by endless gentle contact with flowing water. That softness took years to create. Maybe that's why holding it feels grounding, as though time itself has been shaped into something you can touch. Notice how your breath slows as you imagine this. Notice how your shoulders settle, how your body feels heavier, how your thoughts begin to drift in silence. Let them. You don't need to stay awake. Imagine a quiet curve in the river where the water slows down, forming a small pool. The surface reflects branches overhead, moving gently with each soft breeze. Dragonflies hover above the water, their delicate wings creating faint whispers you can almost hear. Imagine kneeling beside this pool, watching small fish glide beneath the surface in smooth, graceful motions. Everything feels calm here. Everything feels gentle. Perhaps you feel the world loosening its grip on you, as though the day is dissolving into the soft rhythm of the river. If your mind wanders away, that's okay. You can drift with the water. Imagine following the river as it travels through fields of tall grass. The wind moves through the blades, creating waves that echo the water's flow. The sound is soft, almost like whispers carried along the landscape. You feel warm sunlight on your skin, filtering through drifting clouds. The air smells faintly of earth and wildflowers. This is a place where time feels slow, where the world breathes gently. Let yourself breathe with it. Let the warmth settle into your body. Let the softness wash through you like a quiet tide. There's no need to stay alert. Let everything fade. Imagine now a small wooden bridge crossing over the river. The wood feels smooth beneath your hands, warmed by the sun. As you stand there, you can hear the water passing underneath, steady, calm, flowing toward places unseen. Watching a river from above can feel like observing time itself, always moving, always changing, never rushing, never demanding. What if your thoughts could follow that same rhythm? Quiet, steady, unhurried. Allow yourself to drift into that flow. Let your breath match it. In, out, slow, soft, calm. Imagine walking along a shaded path beside the river. The trees arch overhead, their leaves filtering the sunlight into soft patterns on the ground. You hear birds calling quietly from distant branches, their voices blending with the soft murmur of water. The air feels cool here, carrying the scent of moss and damp bark. Each step feels light, almost effortless. As you continue, you notice how peaceful everything feels, as though the world has slowed just enough for you to breathe fully. Let that stillness guide you inward. Let it soothe you. You might already be drifting, and that's completely okay. Imagine the river emptying into a calm lake where the water becomes still, mirroring the sky above. The line between sky and water blurs until they feel like one endless space. You stand at the edge, feeling the soft breeze brush your skin, carrying the faint smell of fresh water. The lake is quiet, its surface gently rising and falling with each tiny movement of air. This stillness invites your mind to settle too, to pause, to drift without direction. You might not remember this part, and that's exactly right. Let yourself drift wherever the quiet takes you. Imagine now that the sun is setting behind distant hills. The sky glows with warm shades of gold, peach, and deepening blue. The river catches these colours, carrying them downstream in soft trails of light. As the world dims, you hear the quiet sounds of evening. Crickets beginning their gentle chorus, leaves rustling faintly in the wind, the water continuing its patient journey through the fading light. Night doesn't arrive all at once. It settles gradually like a blanket being pulled tenderly across the land. Let that same darkness settle over you now. Let it soften your thoughts, your breath, your body. There's no need to resist. Rest is already finding you. Imagine the moon rising silver and soft, casting a pale glow across the river. The water gleams like polished glass, reflecting the moon's gentle light in shifting patterns. Shadows stretch long and thin along the bank. The air grows cooler, carrying the scent of damp plants and distant night-blooming flowers. Everything feels serene, calm, patient, ancient. You breathe slowly, your body loosens, your mind drifts like a leaf floating on quiet water. You don't need to stay awake. You can let go whenever you're ready. And now, imagine settling down beside the river, lying on soft grass warmed earlier by the sun. The ground feels supportive beneath you, gentle against your back. Above you, stars shimmer faintly, their reflections drifting on the water's surface below. You hear the soft lull of the river, steady and continuous. You feel the night's cool air brushing against your skin. Everything here invites rest. Everything here invites ease. Let yourself drift with the river now. Let your breath soften further. Let your thoughts dissolve into the quiet. You're safe. You're held. And sleep can reach you as softly as water moves downstream. Let yourself drift. Settle a little deeper into wherever you're resting right now. Let your breath ease out softly, like a slow tide receding from the shore. Feel your body sink into stillness, into softness, into that gentle space where thoughts begin to stretch and dissolve. Tonight, we return once more to the quiet world of rivers, the ancient paths of water that carry stories through time, moving with a grace that never rushes, never forces, only flows. What time is it where you are right now? Whatever the hour may be, it belongs to you. And the quiet river we drift along tonight belongs to you too. Calm, patient, endlessly gentle. Let yourself settle as the journey begins. Imagine standing at the edge of a wide river in the early morning. The sky above you is still waking, painted in shades of pale lavender and soft blue. A thin layer of mist floats across the surface like a delicate veil, moving ever so slightly with each quiet breath of wind. The air is cool against your skin, and the smell of damp earth rises softly around you. You hear the faint sound of water sliding around a smooth bend, the kind of sound that feels like it's whispering directly to your mind. Rivers at dawn feel like secrets. They feel like the world before the world wakes. As you stand there, notice how your own breath falls into rhythm with the gentle flow. You don't need to stay alert, just drift with the scene. Imagine lowering your hand into the water. It feels cool and smooth, wrapping around your fingers with the softness that almost feels alive. Beneath the surface, you feel little grains of sand moving past your skin. Tiny travelers that have journeyed for years from distant mountains, carried by nothing more than the patient motion of the current. Each grain has been shaped by countless moments, countless touches, countless seasons drifting by. Over time, even the sharpest stone becomes smooth. Do you notice how nature softens everything with time? Feel the water slip between your fingers, gentle as silk. Let your thoughts soften with it. If your mind begins to wander, that's perfectly fine. Let yourself go wherever the current pulls. Imagine walking along the riverbank as sunlight slowly brightens the world. The grasses sway softly, brushing against your ankles as you move. Small insects hover above the water, their wings catching little flashes of light. A heron stands still on the opposite side, waiting with patient grace before dipping its beak into the current. The sound of water gliding over stones blends with the soft rustle of reeds, creating a quiet rhythm that feels almost like breathing. And maybe it is, the earth's own breath, slow and ancient. Have you ever wondered if landscapes remember? If water carries echoes of everything it has touched? As you consider that, You may feel a warmth settling through your body, loosening tension you didn't even realize you held. Let that warmth stay with you. Let it carry you deeper into rest. Imagine now that the river winds through a forest. Tall trees stretch above you, their leaves filtering sunlight into gentle patterns on the ground. The air smells faintly of pine and damp bark, mixed with the freshness of flowing water. Each step you take feels cushioned by soft soil and fallen leaves. Birds call quietly from distant branches, their voices blending with the murmur of the current. You reach a place where the water slows into a shallow pool, so clear you can see the pebbles resting at the bottom. They look like polished gems, shaped slowly, patiently, over centuries. You kneel and run your fingers through the cool surface, watching ripples spread outward in delicate rings. These ripples widen, soften, then disappear, just like thoughts drifting across a quiet mind. Let your thoughts fade with them. You don't need to hold on to anything here. Imagine a small stream joining the main river. The sound changes slightly, a gentle merging of tones, like a harmony blending into a larger melody. The stream comes from a higher place, trickling down through mossy rocks and shadowed groves, before meeting the river with a tender rush of bubbles. The moment two waters meet is beautiful. They don't collide, they mingle, they become something new. Have you ever felt like your life gently merged with another moment, another memory, another path? It's okay if you're already drifting as you imagine this. You don't need to catch every detail. Let the softness carry you. Imagine following the river as it curves through open fields. The grass sways in slow waves, carrying the faint smell of wildflowers warmed by the sun. Butterflies drift lazily between blossoms. The water glimmers in the light, shimmering like a ribbon of silver woven into the land. Here the river feels calm, almost sleepy. It moves with wide, gentle motions, its surface smooth enough to reflect the clouds drifting above. Each cloud feels like a soft thought floating across your mind. You can let them pass without trying to hold on to any of them. You might feel a looseness settling into your limbs, a gentle heaviness. That's good. That's perfect. Let it deepen. Imagine now the river flowing beneath a small stone arch, an old bridge worn by countless seasons. The stones are smooth to the touch, warmed by sunlight during the day and cooled by the night air. As you stand on the bridge, you hear the water moving beneath you, a quiet echo that feels both close and infinitely distant. Beneath the arch, the river narrows slightly, creating a soft, steady hum. It's a peaceful sound, like a lullaby whispered across generations, the kind of sound that lingers in your bones. Perhaps you felt this before, the sense that some places carry a natural calm, a natural comfort. Let the sound hold you. Let it guide your breathing. Slow, soft, gentle. Imagine sitting on the bank as evening begins to fall. The sky is painted in soft shades of gold and peach. The water reflects those colours, carrying them downstream in long streaks of fading light. You feel the day dissolving around you, leaving only calm. A faint breeze moves across your skin, cool and refreshing. You smell the rich, damp scent of the riverbank, earth, water, and the smallest hint of something sweet from blooming plants nearby. Crickets begin to sing in the distance. Frogs offer their low, steady calls. The river continues its patient journey, unbothered by time, unhurried by the world. As the light fades, your mind may feel like it's slipping into a quieter place. That's exactly how it should be. If your eyes feel heavy, let them close. Imagine the first stars appearing overhead. Their faint glow reflects on the water like tiny lanterns floating just beneath the surface. You hear only the soft movement of the current and the occasional rustle of leaves stirred by gentle air. Night brings a special kind of calm to rivers. The darkness deepens the silence. The coolness sharpens the smells of earth and water. Everything feels slower, softer. You sit there, listening, resting, breathing. The river's rhythm becomes your rhythm. Its calm becomes your calm. Its stillness becomes your stillness. You don't need to stay awake. You can drift whenever you're ready. Imagine dipping your hand into the water once more. It feels cooler now, the chill of night settling across the surface. The sensation is refreshing, grounding. You watch the ripples fade into the dark. The water carries them away as it carries everything: leaves, reflections, stray beams of moonlight. You may feel your mind letting go too, becoming lighter, quieter. You don't need to remember any of this. You're allowed to drift between thought and sleep, between waking and dreaming. Just follow the flow. Imagine walking along the river under moonlight. The ground is cool beneath your feet. The trees cast long shadows that ripple with each breeze. The air is filled with faint sounds, distant insects, soft swaying grass, the quiet whisper of water moving over smooth stones. You may feel wrapped in a blanket of night, safe, supported, held gently by the world around you. That sense of safety runs through rivers. They carry it, they offer it, they embody it. Let that feeling fill your chest. Let it soften your breath. Let it ease you deeper. Imagine reaching a bend where the water widens into a gentle basin. The surface is calm, barely moving. The stars reflect like scattered jewels, shimmering with each faint ripple. You sit near the edge, your body sinking into soft grass. You feel the earth supporting you, cool and solid beneath your hands. You hear the river's slow heartbeat. You smell the faint sweetness of night air. You sense your thoughts slowing to match the water's pace. You don't need to know where the river leads. You don't need to follow every detail. You can drift here. You can rest. Imagine closing your eyes and listening only to sound. The river's flow, the quiet shift of air, the soft hum of nightlife around you. You feel your body becoming heavier. Your breath becomes shallower, softer, more rhythmic. Your thoughts scatter like tiny leaves floating downstream. Nothing clings, nothing resists, everything flows. You let go, you soften, you drift. And as the night deepens and the river continues its endless, gentle journey, let yourself drift with it. Let the calm fold over you like a slow-moving current. Let the quiet settle into your bones. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to hold. Just drift, softly, slowly, peacefully. Let yourself go. Settle in a little deeper now. Let your breath soften, slow, and fall into a rhythm that feels effortless. Imagine the world outside fading gently, like distant hills dissolving into early evening fog. You're here, held in quiet, surrounded by words that move as softly as water drifting downstream. As you rest, let the tension slip from your shoulders. Let your eyelids grow a little heavier and let your thoughts become lighter. Are you in bed, on a couch, or somewhere peaceful tonight? Wherever you are, let this space become your quiet refuge, a place where you can drift without effort, without direction, without needing anything at all. Just relax, just breathe, just ease into the flow of rivers once more. Imagine approaching a river during the late afternoon. when the sunlight hangs low and warm across the landscape. The light glows like soft gold on the water's surface, shimmering with each gentle movement. The air carries a faint warmth, mixed with the cool breath rising from the river's edge. You hear the subtle sound of water brushing against smooth stones, the rustle of tall grass bending slowly in the breeze, and the distant calls of birds returning to quiet places. Everything feels calm. Everything feels patient. As you stand along the bank, feel the softness of the soil beneath your feet, still warm from the day, and notice how the river's rhythm seems to match the slow beat of your own breathing. If you drift for a moment, that's okay. You're supposed to. Imagine lowering yourself to sit at the edge of the water. The ground is soft, gently cushioning your weight. You run your fingers through the cool surface, watching ripples spread outward in slow expanding rings. Beneath the water, stones rest in colours softened by countless years, muted greens, gentle greys, warm browns, all polished by the patient touch of the river. Each stone once carried sharp edges, but time smoothed them. Water shaped them, motion softened them. Isn't it curious how nature accomplishes so much through gentleness? You feel the cool sensation travel up your arm, calming, grounding, quiet. And maybe your breathing sinks deeper, becoming slower. Let it. You don't need to stay aware of every detail. Imagine wandering along a narrow path beside the river, sheltered by tall trees arching overhead. The leaves create shifting patterns of shadows on the ground, each one moving like slow dancers swaying above you. The air smells of moss, damp bark, and the faint sweetness of wild plants resting in the shade. You hear tiny footsteps, small animals moving through underbrush, their presence so soft you barely catch them. The river beside you glides with a patient rhythm, gently brushing against the roots of old trees leaning toward the water. Their reflections stretch long across the surface, bending and reshaping with each subtle shift of the current. You may find yourself breathing deeper, as though the forest itself is exhaling with you. Perhaps you've wondered before whether nature breathes. Maybe it does, slowly, silently, steadily. Imagine finding a small clearing where sunlight spills onto the river in bright patches, making the water sparkle like scattered pieces of glass. You kneel there, feeling the warmth on your hands as you hover above the surface. Fish swim below, tiny flashes of movement darting between stones, weaving patterns only they understand. The water moves around them without hurry. It always knows where to go. It always finds a way. There's a quiet wisdom in that, an understanding that progress doesn't need force. It just needs consistency. As that thought drifts through your mind, maybe your body sinks a little deeper into relaxation, your muscles loosening one by one. You don't need to catch every word. Let them flow around you like the river itself. Imagine following the river until you reach a place where the bank widens, forming a soft grassy slope leading down to the water. You lie back on the warm earth, feeling the gentle pressure of the ground beneath you. Above, the sky stretches endlessly, bright and open, dotted with slow drifting clouds. The sound of the river becomes a soothing hum, steady, simple, calming. You feel the grass brushing lightly against your arms, swaying with the breeze. The scent of fresh earth mixes with the quiet fragrance of sun-warmed plants. Everything blends into a soft, gentle harmony. You might feel the edges of your thoughts beginning to blur, dissolving into something slow and peaceful. That's perfect. Let them dissolve. Imagine the river changing shape as it moves, narrowing into a gentle channel. broadening into a wide, calm stretch, weaving through bends shaped by centuries of patient motion. The water knows the way because it follows the land's quiet guidance. Have you ever wondered how something so fluid can create something so stable? Rivers carve valleys, shape plains, and feed forests, all through endless patience. As you think about that, maybe you feel a calm settling into your chest, like a warm weight that brings comfort. You don't need to remember this. You can drift as much as you want. Imagine now that the river leads you to a shaded grove where branches hang low, touching the surface like soft fingertips. Leaves drift silently through the air, landing gently on the water, carried away without resistance. The sound here is softer, more delicate. Water slipping around roots, leaves brushing each other, the faint buzz of insects floating between shafts of light. Everything feels slow. Everything feels tender. You can almost feel the coolness in the air, the kind that carries the smell of damp wood and quiet soil. Have you ever noticed how silence in nature isn't empty? It's full of tiny sounds, gentle, subtle, calming. Let those sounds gather around your imagination and pull you deeper into rest. Imagine placing your hand against the trunk of an old tree near the river's edge. The bark is rough, textured, grounding. This tree has stood here for decades, maybe centuries, watching the river change, watching seasons shift, watching life come and go. You can sense that slow history within it. You feel the faint warmth the sun left on its surface. You hear the quiet creak of branches moving like slow breaths. You smell the deep, earthy aroma of tree sap and soil. Being here feels like touching time itself, steady, patient, forgiving. Let that sense of age, that deep calm settle into you. Let it anchor you gently as your thoughts drift further from wakefulness. Imagine returning to the water's edge just as the sun begins to lower toward the horizon. The sky shifts into shades of amber and rose. The river reflects those colours, carrying them downstream in long gliding ribbons. The light touches your face with a gentle warmth. You breathe in the soft scent of cooling air, mixed with hints of river plants and faint traces of sweet grass. The world feels quiet, still, almost suspended. Perhaps you've wondered before how moments like this can feel so infinite. Maybe it's because rivers don't hold time the way we do. They simply flow through it. Let yourself drift with that flow. Imagine the sky darkening into twilight. Birds settle into branches. The wind softens. Crickets begin their slow chorus. The river continues its eternal journey, unbothered by the fading light. You watch as small ripples catch the last reflections of the sun, turning them into sparkling points that drift away, swallowed by softening night. The air cools around you, brushing your skin with the faint chill that comes with dusk. The scents grow richer, damp soil, river water, rustling leaves, and your body grows heavier, more relaxed, more ready to sink into stillness. You don't need to stay awake to follow this. Let your mind wander. Imagine the moon rising, pale and soft, casting a silver glow across the river. The water gleams gently, forming shifting shapes of light that dance with every small movement. Shadows stretch long along the bank. The world becomes muted, voices quieter, colours softer, time slower. You feel yourself sinking into that muted space, as though the night itself is wrapping you in cool air and gentle light. Your breath becomes shallow, your muscles loosen, your thoughts drift like leaves on water. You don't need to hold on to anything. Let go. Imagine lying down on a soft patch of grass once more. feeling the earth beneath you steady and safe. The moonlit river flows beside you, a quiet companion. You hear only the soft, continuous movement of water, the occasional whisper of leaves shifting in the breeze, and the faint hum of night insects hidden in the dark. Your eyes close without effort. Your breathing aligns with the slow rhythm of the river. The world fades into a blur of gentle sound and stillness. You drift easily, peacefully, weightlessly. Let yourself fade into that calm. Let your mind drift downstream. Let sleep arrive softly, like water touching the shore. Imagine a river just after sunrise, its surface touched by pale gold light that spreads across the water like a delicate glaze. The air is cool enough to give your skin a faint shiver, the kind that feels awakening rather than cold. You hear the faint rustle of reeds along the banks, moving with a softness that seems to match your own breathing. A river at dawn doesn't rush, it glides. It carries the night's stillness forward into the day, letting it settle over everything in its path. Rivers form slowly over ages, beginning from the smallest threads of melting snow, droplets gathering in hidden corners of mountains. No force, no hurry, just the natural pull of gravity drawing water downward through moss, stone, and dark soil. Those tiny rivulets merge, learning the feel of movement, learning the shape of the land. They find each other in quiet crevices, weaving themselves into something larger. Have you ever wondered how something so immense begins with something so small? Perhaps you felt that within yourself too. How change begins gently, almost invisibly, before it grows into something that can carve valleys in your life. Let your mind drift the way rivers drift, not in straight lines, but in curves, bending softly around whatever lies in their way. If your attention wanders, let it wander. If you miss a sentence or slip halfway into sleep, that's perfect. You don't need to hold anything tightly here. Imagine placing your hand into a slow, cool current. Feel the gentle push against your skin, the feather-soft pull of water gliding around each finger. Beneath the surface, countless tiny grains travel with the stream, mineral dust, polished sand, the faint remains of ancient stone carried mile after mile with patient persistence. Though the movement is quiet, it shapes the world. Ridges become valleys, cliffs become meadows, hard stone becomes soft sand. All through the patient hands of water, shaping the earth with a tenderness that outlasts time. There is something deeply comforting in knowing that nature doesn't rush, yet it accomplishes everything. Do you notice how your own breathing aligns with that thought? How it lengthens, slows, deepens without effort? Perhaps you felt this before, standing near water, that sense of your inner rhythm falling into step with the world around you. Along many riverbanks, life gathers in quiet cooperation. Deer approach at dawn, dipping their heads into still pools. Birds glide just above the surface, tracing faint ripples with their wings. Trees lean toward the water, their roots drinking deeply from the soil. Their leaves shimmer with reflected light, each one holding a mirrored glint of the river beneath it. You can almost hear the faint rustling overhead, as if the trees themselves are whispering stories about the water's journey. Picture yourself walking beside one of these rivers after soft rainfall. The scent of wet earth rises gently into the air, rich, deep, and comforting. You can almost feel the moisture in the breeze brushing your face, carrying the coolness of distant mountains. Beneath your feet, the soil is soft, given slightly with each step. A fine mist hovers above the surface of the water, shifting with the faintest wind. Everything feels slowed, hushed, peaceful. Have you ever noticed how rain transforms a place, not with noise but with stillness afterward? Rivers reflect that stillness, holding the memory of storms in their rising waters but releasing tension as they continue their gentle flow. Some rivers wind across enormous landscapes, travelling through plains, forests and deserts. Others remain tucked in hidden valleys, seen only by the animals that drink from them and the plants rooted along their edges. But no matter their size, all rivers share the same ancient purpose: to move water forward, to carry life where it's needed, to connect places that would otherwise remain apart. There's a quiet lesson in that, a reminder that even the softest currents can create connection simply by continuing. Now imagine twilight settling over a wide river. The sky deepens into shades of lavender and blue, the last faint glow of the sun shimmering across the water in a thin ribbon. You hear insects beginning their nightly songs, a steady background hum that fades in and out like distant breathing. You might see a few glimmers of reflected starlight as the sky darkens. The river doesn't resist the night, it simply becomes part of it, absorbing darkness the way it absorbed light. Perhaps you notice your own thoughts growing darker too, not heavy, but soft, muted, blending gently into the quiet around you. It's okay if they fade. You don't need to remember everything. You don't need to stay awake. Let the current carry your awareness however it wishes. Rivers often flow through canyons carved over thousands of years. Imagine the slow work involved, water brushing against stone season after season, creating pathways where none existed. A canyon wall reveals layers of time, each stripe of colour representing an age that passed long before any human stood to witness it. What if your own experiences are layered this way too? Quiet memories stacked gently within you, each contributing to who you are without demanding attention. In some places, rivers split into branching channels called braided streams, weaving in and out like delicate threads laid across the landscape. Seen from above, they look like patterns etched by a patient artist. These patterns shift with storms, meltwater, and changing seasons. Nothing stays rigid. Everything adapts. Feel how that idea relaxes your body, the understanding that nothing needs to stay fixed in place. Not thoughts, not emotions, not awareness. Everything can flow. In certain corners of the world, crystal-clear rivers reveal stones beneath them, shaped smooth by years of gentle pressure. Light refracts through the water, bending into shimmering patterns that dance along the riverbed. It's easy to lose yourself in that sight, to watch the light flicker and shift and feel your mind drifting in the same slow, mesmerizing rhythm. Have you ever wondered why moving water is so soothing, even when it barely makes a sound? Perhaps it echoes something in us, the rhythms of the heart, the flow of breath, the quiet movement of thought. Maybe we recognize ourselves in that softness. Now imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a river at night. The world is still. The air is cool and carries the faint scent of wet leaves. The moon appears as a pale reflection gliding along the surface, broken only by the slightest ripples. The sound of water is gentle, so soft it feels like a whisper. Time seems to stretch. Space feels wide and comforting. There is no need to rush, no need to think, just the river, just the night, just the soft rhythm of your breath. Long ago, travellers followed rivers to find their way, trusting the steady flow to lead them toward water, shelter, and fertile ground. They moved slowly, learning the habits of the land, listening to the stories carried through valleys. In those ancient moments, the river was both guide and companion, and quietly it shaped the paths of entire civilizations. Even now, the remnants of those early journeys remain in the cultures that grew on riverbanks, each one influenced by the calm persistence of flowing water. As you rest here tonight, let a bit of that ancient guidance flow into you. Let the river lead your thoughts where they wish to go. You don't need to follow every moment. You don't need to remember anything when you wake. Drift with it, softly, easily, without effort. Let your breathing settle into long, gentle waves. Feel your body sinking further into darkness, warmth, or softness, whatever holds you most comfortably. The river within your imagination continues flowing, even if you no longer follow every detail, and that's perfectly okay. As this chapter settles into its final quiet stretch, imagine a river at rest beneath starlight. The world above sleeps, the world below sleeps, and the water moves with such slow grace that it seems not to move at all. Let that stillness become your stillness. Let your thoughts settle like silt at the bottom of a calm pool. Let the current of sleep take you whenever it wishes. A quiet welcome drifts toward you again, as soft as the warm breeze that rests above a river at dusk. Let yourself arrive gently, settling into the stillness of this moment. Feel your breath easing into a slow rhythm, like ripples touching the shore in delicate patterns. There is nothing you need to do now, nowhere to go. Let the day fall away behind you, dissolving like sunlight fading across the water. The world can soften for you here. You deserve this gentle pause, this place where your thoughts can settle like drifting petals on a calm current. Imagine a river in the late evening, when the sky is turning shades of amber and rose, and the air has that unmistakable quiet that only comes when the world begins to unwind. The surface of the water mirrors that fading light in long, wavering bands. Each reflection stretches across the current, bending and shifting with each subtle movement beneath. The day's warmth is still held in the stones along the shore, radiating upward in faint, comforting waves. Perhaps you can almost feel that warmth reaching your skin, blending with the cool touch of the night air. As you breathe, imagine yourself standing by that river, listening to its soft murmur. The gentle flow echoes faintly through the valley, a sound so calm that it feels like an extension of your own heartbeat. Have you ever noticed how water seems to quiet the mind without trying? How even the faintest hint of flowing sound can make your chest rise in easier breaths? Maybe it's because rivers move in the same way the mind wants to move, unforced, steady, wandering towards something unseen but never rushing to reach it. These evening hours reshape the river's character. What felt bright and alive under the afternoon sun becomes serene and shadowed at dusk. Fish glide beneath the surface, their movements slower now, drifting through ribbons of fading light. The scent of wet stone and fresh leaves rises gently into the cooling air. You might hear insects beginning their soft chorus, their rhythm joining the river's own quiet song. The world feels layered, as though each sound is a thin veil draped over the water, creating a harmony that relaxes everything within earshot. If your eyelids grow heavy as you listen, let them. You don't need to hold on tightly. You don't need to stay alert. You can drift in and out like a small leaf resting on the current, floating whichever way the water takes you. Rivers in evening light hold a special softness. Shadows gather along the bends, stretching gently across the surface. Trees lean over the banks, their silhouettes reflected in elongated shapes that sway slightly with the flow. The air cools with every passing minute, carrying scents of damp soil, moss, and distant smoke from a settlement miles downstream. The breeze quiets, making the world feel still, suspended. Sometimes, in places untouched by cities, fireflies gather along the edges of the water. Their soft glow flickers above the river like drifting stars that somehow fell too close to Earth. Imagine those lights dancing gently in the darkness, appearing and disappearing in slow pulses. You can almost hear the faint rustle of grass as they move through it, tiny bodies brushing past leaves, creating a whisper of movement so delicate you might barely notice it. Have you ever witnessed something so quiet, so understated, that it stayed with you longer than louder memories? Perhaps you remember standing near water on a warm night, feeling the hum of insects, hearing the soft lap of waves against rocks, sensing the night settling gently across your shoulders. Those moments are like evening rivers, soothing, persistent, unforgettable in their quietness. You can rest within that memory now, or let it shape itself anew as you imagine your own peaceful river. Let yourself stand on the soft earth beside it. Let the night glow around you. Let the current move with slow certainty, reshaping both the land and your thoughts with every small gesture. Imagine stepping closer to the water's edge. Feel the coolness rising from the river, brushing your skin like a soft sigh. Hear the hush of the current as it glides around stones. Notice how the light fades not all at once, but gently, like a candle burning low. Everything softens at this hour. The sky, the water, even the edges of your awareness. You don't have to focus sharply. You don't have to hold on to every detail. You can let sensations drift into one another, blending like colours on a wet canvas. As twilight deepens, the river's surface takes on a deeper tone, like silk dyed in midnight hues. The reflections shift subtly, becoming more abstract. A scatter of faint stars, a blurred outline of trees, the pale glow of the horizon lingering like a whisper. The world grows spacious. Thoughts grow softer. The river moves on, carrying everything lightly, easily. Now imagine walking along a narrow path beside this evening river. The ground is slightly uneven, shaped by years of roots, pebbles, and fallen leaves. Each step makes a quiet sound, a soft crunch, a muted shift of earth, blending with the river's constant murmur. You might feel the gentle brush of tall grass against your hands, the cool kiss of night air settling across your arms. The world around you feels wide but not empty. Instead, it feels like a place waiting for you, holding space for you. If you feel yourself drifting again, that's perfectly okay. Let the path continue in your imagination, even if your thoughts wander away. Rivers don't demand attention. They continue flowing whether you watch them or not. You can follow along or rest beside them. Either way, the current keeps moving in its gentle, ancient rhythm. In the distance, you might hear the faint call of an owl, its voice echoing softly across the water. The sound fades into the night, blending with crickets and rustling leaves. The sky above deepens into a velvet darkness, each star appearing slowly, like a small gift offered one at a time. Their reflections on the water shimmer as the current carries them downstream, stretching, bending, dissolving gently into ripples. Imagine dipping your fingertips into the river. Feel the cool shock of water enveloping your skin, the momentary gasp of cold before it shifts into comfort. The current wraps around your hand like a gentle ribbon, tugging with the softest insistence. As you pull your hand out, droplets fall back into the river with tiny plinks, each one creating a delicate ring that spreads outward, merging silently with the current. Have you ever wondered why such small sensations can feel so calming? Why the touch of cool water, the sight of twilight reflections, or the sound of flowing currents can ease tension you didn't even realize you were holding? Maybe rivers remind us of something natural inside ourselves, a flow that never needed force, a rhythm that simply exists. As night settles fully across the water, lanterns may glow from distant homes along the banks. Their warm light flickers gently, casting faint golden trails across the surface. You might imagine sitting near one of those lanterns, wrapped in a soft blanket, feeling warmth against your skin while the cool river breeze brushes lightly across your face. The contrast between warmth and coolness is deeply soothing, like two worlds meeting in quiet harmony. You don't need to picture everything clearly. Let images drift in and out. Let your breathing deepen, each inhale smooth and unhurried, each exhale a release into the night. Long ago, a small village rested near a river just like this one. People would gather at dusk, sitting beneath tall trees as the evening breeze carried the scent of herbs they dried near their homes. Children listened to the soft stories told by elders, stories carried down through generations. The river flowed beside them, its gentle murmur weaving through every tale. When the lanterns were finally extinguished, the river was still there, constant, steady, holding the memory of every voice that rested beside it. And in that way, quietly and without effort, it became part of who they were. Imagine that same quiet certainty settling into you now. The assurance that even when you rest, even when thoughts dissolve, something gentle continues moving through you, guiding you softly. As this chapter drifts toward its end, picture the river lying calm beneath the stars. The world has grown silent. The water has darkened into a mirror of the night sky. Your breath aligns with the slow pulse of the current. You may feel your body sinking deeper into whatever holds you, becoming warm, heavy, peaceful. Perhaps you're already halfway in dreams, and that's perfect. Let the river carry you the rest of the way. Let the darkness wrap around you like a soft blanket. Let yourself drift. A soft welcome returns to you, quiet as the pale light that touches a river moments before sunrise. Let your breath loosen as you settle in, letting the darkness around you feel gentle rather than empty. You don't need to brace yourself against anything here. Let the night cradle you. Let your body rest in whatever position feels most natural. Feel the air moving slowly around you, like a faint current drifting through a quiet valley. The world is dim, peaceful, unhurried. You might already feel the edges of sleep brushing against you, and that is perfectly okay. There is nothing to resist. Not now, not here. Imagine a river at the earliest hour of morning, when the sky is still a deep steel blue and the world hasn't yet awakened. The air feels cool and carries a hint of dew. Mist rises gently from the surface of the water, floating in thin, shifting layers that catch the faint glow of the soon-to-rise sun. The river looks almost otherworldly, soft, delicate, hidden beneath its own breath. The banks lie still, wrapped in pale shadows. Every sound seems distant, softened by the dampness of the air. Even the river's motion feels quieter, as though it hasn't decided yet how fast it wishes to move. There is a unique calm that exists only in these early hours. The land feels untouched, as though it has been waiting patiently for someone to notice its beauty. The birds have not begun their songs yet. Leaves do not rustle. The river flows with a deep, steady certainty, as though guided by some ancient memory. Perhaps you recognize that feeling in yourself, the sense of drifting slowly, not quite awake, not quite asleep, suspended in a peaceful place where thoughts move as gently as the water itself. Imagine walking to the water's edge, your footsteps muffled by the damp earth. Feel the coolness rising from the river, brushing lightly against your skin like a soft sigh. The mist curls around your ankles, flowing like silk. You can hear the quiet whisper of water touching stone, a sound so faint that you almost have to hold your breath to notice it. But you don't need to focus. Just let the sounds come to you, drifting in their own time. Do you ever feel moments like this in your own life? Moments when everything feels muted, slowed, softened. When the world seems to breathe with you rather than around you. Dawn rivers hold that quality. They move not with urgency, but with patience. Their currents drift around fallen branches and smooth stones, shaping the edges of the land in subtle ways. You may notice your thoughts slowing to match the river's rhythm. Breathing becomes easier, shoulders soften. Eyes grow heavy. If you drift into sleep halfway through this moment, that's perfectly okay. You don't need to remember every detail. You can let the river carry you into dreams without resistance. Now imagine dipping your fingertips into the chilly water. Feel the gentle shock of cold that quickly melts into a soothing calm. The current wraps slowly around your fingers, pulling and releasing with soft persistence. Beneath the surface, you might feel smooth stones, their edges worn down by countless years of water passing over them. Each stone is a small record of time, years, decades, centuries of patient shaping. Everything in the river tells a story, but none of those stories rush to be heard. As you stand there, the first hints of dawn begin to colour the horizon. Light spreads softly, like watercolour bleeding across paper. Pink and gold tones melt into the mist, shadows grow faint. Birds begin their morning songs one by one, their voices gentle at first, like small sparks of sound. The river wakes with them, its surface catching the growing glow. Ripples shimmer lightly, stretching and dissolving in long patterns. Have you ever watched a place awaken from darkness? How the world doesn't simply turn bright all at once, but transitions slowly, as though savouring each moment of change. The river mirrors this gentle shift. Its currents brighten, its reflections strengthen, and the mist that once curled low begins to lift, rising like quiet smoke into the warming air. You might feel the same awakening inside yourself, slow, subtle, not demanding anything, just a soft opening of awareness, drifting alongside the river. And even if you're drifting in and out, floating between wakefulness and sleep, you're still moving with this moment. Imagine now that you follow the river along a narrow trail. The ground is cool beneath your feet, still damp with night. Moss glows faintly in the dawn light, its surface soft and springy. Ferns unfurl with delicate precision. You hear drops of water falling from leaves, sliding down their edges before joining the soil below. These tiny sounds form a quiet rhythm, blending with the river's flowing voice. The further you walk, the more the world opens. Trees arch overhead, their branches forming a loose canopy. Rays of early sunlight filter through them, creating shifting patterns of gold across the river. The air smells of pine, wet stone, and the faint sweetness of new growth. You might imagine reaching out to touch the bark of a nearby tree, feeling its cool, rough texture beneath your fingertips. Do you notice how the world feels different in this early hour? How time seems slower? How even your mind settles more easily? Dawn is gentle. Rivers at dawn are gentler still. They exist in a place between night and day, holding both quiet stillness and soft awakening within them. As you continue walking, You come across a shallow area where the river spreads wider, its depth thinning as it slips over golden sand and smooth pebbles. The water here is so clear that you see every detail on the riverbed, the small ridges made by currents, the scattered stones shaped like glass, the faint shadow of fish gliding lazily between them. Their movements are effortless, almost dreamlike, as though they're drifting in a world without weight. Perhaps you can imagine placing your feet in this shallow water, feeling its coolness envelop your ankles, the gentle tug of the current swirling around you. Let it soothe you, let it ground you, let it become a simple, quiet sensation, one that draws you deeper into calm. A pale morning breeze brushes across the river's surface, sending tiny ripples outward. Those ripples catch the forming sunlight and stretch into long, glowing lines that drift toward the opposite bank. It's a sight that feels almost sacred, not in a grand way, but in a soft, intimate way, the kind of beauty that doesn't need to be announced. Long ago, people travelled along rivers just like this one at dawn. They followed the currents because they trusted them, believed in their guidance. The river was a path, a source of nourishment, a companion through ever-changing landscapes. In those early mornings, they too would watch the mist lift, listen to the soft chorus of birds, and feel the quiet promise of a new day taking shape. And so, gently and without effort, the river became part of their stories, something woven into the rhythm of their lives. Imagine that same quiet promise settling into you now. Let the dawn river become a mirror for your own ease. Let your breath match its slow widening. Let your thoughts stretch like morning light. You don't need to hold on to any of this. It's enough simply to drift along with the flow. As the sun finally rises, spreading warmth across the landscape, the river brightens into soft gold. The world awakens fully, but you remain enveloped in the calm of those early moments. Let your body grow heavier, warmer, softer. Let your thoughts drift like leaves carried gently downstream. Let sleep come if it wishes. The river continues flowing, whether you follow it or not. And now, as this chapter settles into its last quiet stretch, imagine the river glowing beneath the soft morning sky. The mist has lifted. The air is warm. The water glides with serene purpose. Feel yourself drifting with it, slow and unhurried. Let any lingering tension dissolve into the current. Let your breath lengthen. Let sleep approach gently, naturally. A quiet welcome settles over you again, like the soft whisper of rain falling onto a river's surface. Let yourself ease into this moment as the world around you begins to blur into gentler shapes. Feel your breath soften, lengthening slowly, flowing the way raindrops flow from cloud to earth. You don't have to think. You don't have to hold on to anything. Just let the air around you shift into something calming, something warm, something patient. If you're already drifting, that's perfect. Let the river hold you. Imagine a river under the first touch of rainfall. Clouds gather overhead in deep grey layers, their edges soft as brushed velvet. The air becomes thick with the scent of wet earth and distant storms. A hush spreads across the land, as though everything is waiting, listening to the moment when the first drop finally falls. Then, delicately it begins, a tiny sound, almost inaudible, a single tap upon a leaf or a stone, and then another, and another, until the river is covered in small, expanding circles of rippling silver. Raindrops on water have a hypnotic rhythm. Each one creates a perfect ring, widening gently, merging with others, forming patterns that constantly change. The river accepts every drop without resistance. It widens in quiet pulses, deepening slightly as each ripple folds into the next. You might picture yourself standing beneath a tree nearby, feeling cool drops kissing your skin as they slip through the leaves above. The sound around you becomes a soft chorus. Water meeting water, leaf meeting rain, river meeting sky. Have you ever listened to rainfall long enough that it begins to sound like breathing? Slow, even, comforting. Maybe you've felt that same rhythm inside your own chest, when your breath shifts into something effortless, something natural. You can feel it now if you listen inside yourself. You might already be drifting towards sleep, and that's exactly what should happen. Let the river and rain blur together until they become one gentle sound. As the rain grows steadier, the river changes its texture. The surface darkens into deep blues and greys, touched by countless tiny impacts. Ripples cross over one another in delicate patterns. Trees along the banks sway slightly with the shifting wind, their branches trembling with droplets. The scent of the storm intensifies. Rich soil, fresh water, the faint sweetness of distant blossoms bending under the weight of the rain. You can almost feel that scent in your lungs, the freshness, the renewal. Imagine walking closer to the river's edge. The ground beneath your feet is soft, absorbing each drop. Small puddles form in dips and hollows, reflecting the grey sky in miniature mirrors. You might kneel down and touch the surface of one, feeling the water gather in your palm, cool and clear. The river's voice deepens as rain feeds into its currents. You hear the low murmur of water brushing against stones, the whisper of grasses bending under the rain's touch. Do you notice how rain softens everything it touches? Even the sharp edges of thought begin to blur. Worries become less distinct. Memories become gentle silhouettes. Your awareness stretches like mist across a riverbank. You don't have to cling to anything. You can let each thought arrive and dissolve, like raindrops landing, rippling, disappearing into the flow. Imagine standing beneath a large tree near the river. Its branches form a loose canopy, sheltering you from the full shower, allowing only a faint drizzle to reach your skin. Each raindrop that falls from a leaf touches you differently, one rolling down your arm, one sliding along your neck, one landing softly in your hair. These sensations anchor you in a moment that feels both vivid and dreamlike. The river, meanwhile, carries the rain onward, absorbing it effortlessly, letting it become part of its journey. In many places around the world, rivers rely on rainfall to renew their strength. Seasons ebb and flow, bringing dryness, then abundance. And in each cycle, rivers rise and fall with patience, adapting to whatever the sky offers them. There is quiet wisdom in that acceptance, a gentle reminder that you too can ebb and flow without forcing anything. You can be like the river, soft one moment, strong the next, always shifting, always moving. Imagine closing your eyes now. Hear the rain as it falls steadily into the river, each drop a soft note in a long, soothing melody. Hear the distant rumble of thunder, muted by the clouds. Feel the coolness of the air brushing against your skin. Everything blends into one calm sensation. There's no need to remain alert. Let yourself rest inside the rhythm. Picture the river swelling slightly as rainfall gathers. Not enough to rush, only enough to deepen its voice. The current moves with new fullness, gliding around stones with a deeper hum. You might imagine leaning back against a smooth rock, feeling its cool surface supporting you as the rain falls around you. The world becomes a blend of sound and scent and softness. Have you ever found comfort in a rainy day? when the world outside felt distant, slowed, softened. When you could sit by a window or rest beneath a blanket and simply listen. The river feels that comfort now, receiving the rain without question, without concern. You can receive this calm in the same way. Let your mind absorb it gently. Let your breath match its steady descent. Now imagine that the rain begins to lighten. The drops fall more slowly, more sparsely. The river's surface grows smoother again, its ripples shrinking into faint tremors. The storm clouds drift apart in pale layers, revealing small slivers of sky. The air holds the scent of freshness, the scent the world has after being washed clean. You might picture yourself walking along the riverbank now. Your footsteps press into the damp earth, leaving soft impressions that fill slightly with water. Ferns shine with droplets, each leaf trembling faintly as they catch the breeze. Everything around you glistens. The stones, the branches, the blades of grass, all touched by rain, all shimmering. A soft wind carries away the last strands of mist. The river flows with a new clarity now, its colour deepened by the rain. You hear birds beginning to stir, their voices tentative at first, as though they too are feeling the calm after the storm. The world rebuilds its sounds slowly, layer by layer. Long ago, people living near rivers cherished the sound of rain upon water. To them, it meant renewal, safety, nourishment. They would gather under shelters and listen as rain fell across the land, knowing the river would swell with life. In quiet evenings, children would press their ears to wooden walls and fall asleep to that sound, comforted by the steady rhythm. And in that way, the river and the rain shaped not just the land, but the hearts of those who lived beside them. Imagine that same comfort settling into you now. Imagine the rain washing away tension from your body, your mind, your breath. Let the softness of the storm linger inside you. You don't have to carry anything heavier than this moment. As the chapter draws towards stillness, imagine the river restored after rainfall, its surface smooth, its edges softened, its scent fresh and calming. The world around it glows with renewed life. Feel your breathing match that slow renewal. Feel your body sinking deeper into warmth, into quiet, into rest. Let sleep drift toward you like mist returning to the water. A gentle welcome drifts toward you again, soft as a shadow settling across still water. Let your breath slow as you sink into this quiet moment, releasing whatever feels heavy. Feel the air around you soften. Feel your shoulders lower. Feel the ground or bed beneath you become a place you can rest without effort. You don't need to be fully awake to receive this. You don't need to hear every word. Let yourself drift between thought and dream as the world around you grows softer, dimmer, calmer. You're safe here. You're held. Imagine a deep, slow-moving river beneath a canopy of ancient forest. The surface looks dark, almost glass-like, reflecting the emerald glow of leaves that hang low above the water. Shafts of sunlight slip through the branches in faint golden columns, illuminating drifting particles, tiny specks of pollen, fragments of leaves, whispers of the forest itself suspended in the warm air. You can almost smell the damp earth, the moss-covered stones, the sweet scent of ferns layered with the faint sharpness of pine. The river here is older than memory. It has carved its path through layers of soil and stone, deep enough that the water below the surface is cool even on the warmest days. Imagine dipping your hand into it. The cold surprises you first, then steadies into comfort. The current glides around your fingers like silk. Beneath, you might feel smooth river stones, shaped by centuries of gentle movement. They resist nothing. They fight nothing. They simply yield to the endless patience of flowing water. Thoughts can behave like stones too, hard at times, heavy, unmoving. But under the slow pressure of calm, under the steady touch of softness, even the hardest edges begin to wear down. Feel that happening inside you now, edges dissolving, tension thinning, weight lightening. There's no rush. You can let it happen one breath at a time. Imagine walking along the bank where tree roots coil into the soil like ancient sculptures. Their twisting forms hold the earth together, embracing the river bank with quiet strength. Leaves rustle overhead, stirred by a faint breeze that carries the scent of wet bark and fresh greenery. Birds flit through the branches, wings beating softly as they settle from branch to branch. You might hear their faint calls, blending with the slow whisper of flowing water. The deeper parts of the river hold secrets, shadows of fish drifting between submerged stones, quiet movements beneath the surface, shapes that glide with effortless grace. The deeper the river, the slower everything seems to move. Even your thoughts begin to mirror that slowness. Breathing deepens, muscles loosen. The day's noise dissolves into a distant hum. Sometimes, the quietest places hold the most meaning. Places where nothing demands your attention, where you don't need to react or analyze or decide. Just be, just breathe, just float. Picture the river widening into a deep pool. The water here darkens into rich tones of blue and green, shifting with the passing light. The surface is smooth, disturbed only by drifting leaves or the occasional ripple from a fish rising to touch the air. The calm is so complete that it feels almost sacred, a space where time slows to a gentle crawl. Imagine sitting on a large flat stone beside this pool. The rock is warm from sunlight, smoothing its surface beneath your hands. Your feet dangle just above the water, toes brushing cool currents. The sound of the river upstream fades into a low, soothing murmur. It feels like the entire world has been placed on pause. If your eyes grow heavy here, let them. If your breath lengthens into slower, softer waves, let it. You don't need to stay fully present. This moment will hold you whether you drift or stay awake. The forest deepens around you. Tall trees rise like guardians, their trunks coated with moss that glows faintly in the scattered light. Ferns sway gently near the ground. The scent of wet leaves fills the air. Somewhere in the distance, water drips steadily from a rocky ledge. A soft rhythm, patient and unchanging. Have you ever felt the comfort of knowing something continues even when you're not watching? The drip of water. The drift of currents, the slow growth of roots beneath the soil. These things move at a pace much slower than your life, yet they persist without strain. They remind you that you too can move slowly, you too can rest. Now imagine sliding into the deep pool. The cool water closes around you, embracing you with steady pressure. You float on your back, looking up at the canopy above. The sky flickers between leaves, a mosaic of green and gold and shifting light. You feel the river carrying you gently, not pulling hard, just supporting your weight. You surrender to its rhythm. Your muscles soften. Your breathing falls into quiet harmony with the ripples beneath you. The deeper you drift, the quieter everything becomes. Sounds turn into soft echoes. Light softens into muted hues. Your awareness becomes fluid, gliding from one thought to another without friction. You may feel as though you're floating in your own mind, weightless and free. Long ago, travelers rested by deep rivers like this one during their long journeys. Exhausted from days of walking, they found comfort in the steady presence of flowing water. They bathed in its cool depths, feeling the river wash away dust and weariness. They listened to its quiet rumble at night, drifting to sleep by its rhythm. The river became their sanctuary, their guide, their companion, and without realizing it, they carried its calm within them even when they moved away from its banks. You can carry that calm too. Let it settle into you. Let it stay with you as softly as mist clinging to a morning river. Imagine the day shifting toward dusk. Shadows stretch across the water. The deep pool darkens into polished obsidian tones. Fireflies begin to glow between the trees, drifting lazily like tiny lanterns. Their reflections shimmer on the river's surface, doubling their light. The air grows cooler, the breeze slower. Everything leans into evening's quiet. You sit on the stone again, watching the slow transformation. The world grows dimmer, softer, more dreamlike. If your mind begins to fade with the light, let it. You don't need clarity right now. You don't need focus. You can drift with the current, letting thoughts come and go like leaves gliding past. As night fully settles, the deep river becomes a mirror of stars. Each ripple stretches starlight into shimmering patterns. The water hums with the soft, steady energy of motion that never sleeps. You breathe in that stillness. You breathe out whatever remains heavy. Everything feels wide. Everything feels gentle. As this chapter settles, imagine yourself sinking into the warmth of night, held by the deep calm of the river. Let yourself drift within that darkness. Let sleep glide toward you like a slow, patient current. Let your thoughts fade into quiet ripples. A gentle stillness settles around you again, soft as the dusk light resting on a quiet riverbank. Feel your breath easing into long, unhurried waves. There is nothing you need to grasp right now, nothing you need to resist. Let your body loosen into whatever holds you. Let your mind drift like a leaf released into a slow current. The world beyond this moment can fade. You're in a soft place now, a safe place, a place shaped by water and calm and time. Imagine a riverbed filled with smooth stones, each one shaped by the patient hands of flowing water. They lie beneath the surface like a mosaic crafted over thousands of seasons, rounded, softened, warmed by sunlight, cooled by the deeper currents. The water glides over them with gentle persistence, brushing their surfaces, polishing their edges, whispering along their curves. You might picture yourself kneeling beside the river, reaching into the clear water to touch one of these stones. It rests cool and heavy in your palm, its surface slick with the softness of flowing water. As you turn it slowly, sunlight glints across it, revealing patterns of colour, specks of mineral, streaks of ancient sediment, traces of the world it has travelled through. Every stone in a river carries the memory of mountains worn down by time, cliffs shaped by wind and rain, hillsides collapsing into dust. All these fragments have drifted downward, carried grain by grain into the river's patient hands. Imagine running your thumb along the stone surface. Feel its smoothness, its subtle warmth where it rose above the water for a moment, its weight in your hand. Beneath that quiet texture lies a history longer than anything human, a history written in layers of time, not words. The river has been shaping this stone for longer than any story can capture, not through force, but through gentle, ceaseless persistence. Now imagine setting the stone back into the water, watching how it sinks with a soft thump, settling into a bed of others. The current flows around it, adjusting instantly, making room the way nature always does, with ease, with grace, with infinite patience. Ripples spread outward from where the stone touched the water, gentle rings widening until they merge into the river's broader rhythm. If your breathing falls into that pattern, slow, widening, slow, softening, let it. If your awareness drifts like those ripples, that's perfect. This moment belongs to softness. Picture yourself walking along a shallow stretch of river where sunlight dances across the stones beneath the surface. Each stone reflects light differently, some shimmering bright gold, others deep green, others a muted grey that glows faintly in the moving water. As the current shifts, light bends and breaks, creating patterns that sway and shimmer like underwater lanterns. You might step into the river here. Feel the cool water envelop your ankles, swirling gently around you. The stones beneath your feet feel smooth and rounded, creating a comforting, uneven rhythm as you walk. Each step sends small ripples outward. Each ripple creates a soft whisper. The world becomes a mosaic of motion and sound and calm. Imagine leaning down to pick up another stone, one that catches your eye with a faint streak of colour, rust red, moss green, pearl grey. Its surface is cool at first touch, then warms to your skin. You turn it over and over, feeling how perfectly it fits against your palm, shaped by centuries of being carried, smoothed, turned and pressed by water. Water shapes everything slowly. Water teaches patience. Water reminds you that even the hardest things become gentle under enough time. Perhaps you feel that message settling somewhere deep inside you, becoming a quiet reassurance. The riverbed holds countless stones like this, each one once sharp, jagged, rough. Now each one softened. At the edge of the river's deeper pool, stones gather like a congregation resting in the shadows. The water above them moves more slowly, its weight creating stillness. Light barely reaches the bottom, but the stones do not need light. They rest where they are, held gently in darkness, shaped still by every small drift of the current. Imagine yourself sinking into this darkness, not a darkness of fear, but of peace. The kind of darkness found beneath cool water, where sound fades and the world feels suspended. Thoughts slow there, breath slows there. Everything becomes muffled into soft quiet. Now picture following the river to a bend where the water narrows and flows more swiftly. Here the stones clatter softly beneath the current, nudged by its movement. Their subtle knocks echo like distant muffled chimes. Even these tiny sounds add to the river's language, a language formed from motion, not words, a language of touch, not noise. The air here smells of fresh water mixed with warm sunlight on damp leaves. A light breeze brushes across the surface, sending shimmers dancing. The world feels open, spacious, gentle. Imagine sitting on a wide, flat rock near this bend, the stone warmed by the sun. Its surface supports your weight steadily, grounding you. Beneath it, the river moves without pause. You can feel faint vibrations through the stone, small tremors from the current, subtle pulses of movement. It's like feeling the earth breathe, slow, deep, constant. If you feel your own breath aligning with that deep rhythm, let it. If your body grows heavier, settling into the support beneath you, allow it. You don't need to stay alert. You don't need to hold on to every minute. You can surrender to the slow flow of this moment. Farther downstream, stones gather into a shallow bar where the river spreads wider. Here the stones are bright beneath the sun, glowing with warmth, shining through the water like captured fragments of light. The water flows around them in braided streams, soft pathways weaving through the river's floor. Imagine walking across these stones, the water brushing against your calves, cool and soothing. Each step creates a soft splash. The river responds to your presence with gentle ripples that fade almost instantly. The stones support your weight without complaint, their smooth surfaces shaped by time. Long ago, people searching for rest would sit on stones just like these. They would listen as the river told slow stories, stories of mountains dissolving, valleys forming, forests growing and falling. These stories were not spoken. They were carried in the way water moved, in the way stones felt under hand and foot, and those who listened learned something without needing words, that the world shifts slowly, tenderly, inevitably. Imagine carrying that knowledge inside yourself. Imagine letting it sit quietly within you like a stone resting on the riverbed, shaped not by effort but by time and patience. Imagine letting every breath be another brush of water smoothing an edge within you. As the day begins to dim, shadows stretch across the river stones, turning gold into amber, green into deeper tones. The water cools, the breeze softens, birds settle into branches overhead, their wings sending faint rustles through the leaves before growing still. The river slows with the fading light, though in truth it never stops. It only seems to rest. You might feel your own body entering that same restful state. Muscles growing heavier, thoughts drifting slower, eyes softening, breath deepening. If your awareness dims, let it dim. If sleep brushes against you, let it settle. As night grows deeper, the stones beneath the water glow faintly under moonlight. Silver shines across their surfaces, reflecting in subtle flashes as the river glides over them. These stones, shaped by ages, continue resting in the same calm patience. Let that patience fill you. Let the soft weight of the river settle into your breath. Let yourself drift like a stone carried gently towards stillness. A soft calm settles around you again, like the long sigh of a river stretching through an open landscape. Feel your breath ease into a slower rhythm, rising gently, falling gently, flowing without effort. Let the day loosen its hold. Let your muscles soften. Let your thoughts blur at the edges. You don't need to be fully awake. You don't need to hold on to anything tightly. You can drift in and out as softly as the current of a wide, wandering river. Imagine a river that stretches so far across the land that you cannot see its opposite shore. The air above it moves slowly, warm with sunlight, carrying the faint scent of sunlit grass and distant soil. The water glides in broad, sweeping motions, turning gently around sandbars and small islands of reeds. Its surface rises and falls with subtle patterns, each movement wide and unhurried, each ripple a breath of the earth itself. You might picture yourself sitting on the bank of this river, where tall grasses sway in soft waves, brushing your legs with cool, feathery touches. The ground beneath you is warm from the day's sun, holding heat that radiates upward in soothing pulses. As you rest there, you hear the low murmur of the river's wide flow, a sound that stretches far into the distance, a quiet ribbon of motion threading through the heart of the land. The width of the river creates a special kind of calm. Everything moves slowly here. The current feels like a giant creature breathing in long, patient intervals. When the water curves around a bend, it does so with a kind of grace, broad arcs that take their time unfolding. No rush, no force, just the natural wandering shape of something that has learned to follow the path of least resistance. Imagine dipping your hand into this wide water. Feel the faint push of the current slipping around your fingers. Feel the warmth of sunlight on the surface and the coolness just below. The water feels thicker here, weighted by its depth and volume, carrying within it the stories of long distances travelled. You might feel small pieces of drifting leaves brushing past your skin, soft touches that dissolve almost before you notice them. Perhaps you've experienced this kind of quiet movement before. Those rare moments when your own thoughts stretch wide, drifting without urgency, without sharpness. That is the nature of wide rivers. They carry not only water, but a feeling of spaciousness, a sense of open breathing. Imagine standing up and walking along the bank. The grass bends gently under your steps, releasing a subtle scent of warmth and green life. Dragonflies hover nearby, their wings catching the sunlight in glassy flashes. You might hear them buzz lightly as they shift from one hovering spot to another. A soft breeze drifts across the river, touching your face with cool fingers. The world around you feels bigger than your worries, larger than your thoughts, softer than your tension. The river moves alongside you, always present, always steady. You walk without effort. You breathe without thinking. The rhythm of your steps matches the slow undulation of water flowing around sandbars. There's something healing in that simple alignment, the merging of movement, breath, and river. As you continue walking, the river widens even more. From your vantage point, it looks like a long, shimmering plain of water stretching beyond the horizon. The sky above mirrors its vastness, open, endless, gentle. Clouds drift across it in slow formations, their shadows gliding over the surface of the river in soft patches. These shadows shift like quiet thoughts, coming and going, leaving no mark. Imagine stepping onto a small outcropping of earth that reaches slightly into the river. The water laps quietly against the edges, creating a soft, rhythmic sound. This outcropping feels like your own small island, a place where you can sit, breathe, and simply exist without pressure. You lower yourself onto the ground, feeling the warmth beneath you seep into your body. You let the breeze wrap around you. The river stretches on, wide and calm. If your awareness drifts here, if your eyelids feel heavy, if your thoughts loosen, let them. You don't need to stay fully awake to be part of this moment. The river's calm continues with or without your attention. You can float alongside it whether your mind is clear or hazy, awake or half asleep. Imagine cupping your hands and lifting water from the surface. It slips through your fingers in a smooth cascade, leaving cool trails down your arms. Droplets fall back into the river with tiny plinks, forming small rings that widen outward before dissolving. The sound is delicate, comforting, familiar. You lean forward and listen to the soft swirls of current beneath you. Each swirl is a story of the river's journey. Mountains eroded, rainfall gathered, tributaries merged. Far in the distance, birds drift over the river, gliding with slow wings that barely move. Their reflections shimmer beneath them in the wide water. Occasionally they dip low, touching the surface with the slightest graze, sending narrow ripples outward. These ripples stretch and soften, merging back into stillness as the river absorbs them. Now imagine the day beginning to lean toward afternoon. The sun hangs lower in the sky, casting long strips of gold across the water. The river glows with warm light, sparkling in countless places like the scales of a massive, gentle creature. The air thickens with warmth, carrying with it the smell of heated grasses and soft sediment. You might feel your body warming too, your limbs becoming heavier, your breath becoming slower. The river's warmth seeps into your senses. Light dances across your vision. Everything softens. Have you ever noticed how wide rivers seem to hold the heat of the day differently than smaller ones? Their surface warms slowly, their depth staying cool and steady. That combination creates a rare balance, warmth above, coolness below, like layers of calm that cradle the land. You may feel that same layered calm settling within you, warming your chest while cooling your thoughts. Imagine lying down now, stretching out on the soft grass near the wide river's edge. The ground beneath you is warm and forgiving. The sky above is a vast canvas of blue, occasionally brushed by drifting white clouds. In the distance, insects hum their gentle chorus, a sound more soothing than silence. The river moves beside you, wide and constant, its deep voice merging with the ambient hum of the world. Your breathing slows even further. Your limbs feel heavier, your mind drifts like a boat unanchored. The wide water becomes the rhythm you follow, slow, steady, unbroken. Picture a boat drifting quietly along the centre of the river. It moves without oars, carried only by the current. It may be empty, or maybe it's simply carrying peace from one place to another. Its shadow glides beneath it, soft and elongated. The wake it leaves behind is faint, barely visible, dissolving almost immediately into the calm surface. You may imagine yourself in that boat now, lying down, looking up at the endless sky, feeling the gentle sway beneath you. No need to steer, no need to decide anything. The river carries you. You breathe, you rest, you drift. Long ago, wide rivers served as travelling paths for communities moving through open lands. They used the breadth of these waters to glide across great distances with ease. The river was their guide, their nourishment, their safety. People would sing quiet songs as they travelled, songs carried softly across the water, blending with the river's own hum. The current listened. The river held their voices for a moment before releasing them into the wide world. Imagine those old voices carried in faint echoes along the water's surface, not in a haunting way, but in a gentle, reassuring way, as if the river remembers every traveller who trusted it. Imagine that same trust settling into you. You can allow yourself to drift without effort. You can let the current guide you. As the sun begins to dip, the river widens into a broad sheet of amber. The sky turns shades of rose and lavender. The warm daylight softens into something dreamlike. Shadows stretch across the water. The world grows quieter in preparation for evening. You may feel your own awareness dimming in the same way, the bright moments of the day turning into soft reflections, shadows of thoughts lengthening, your breath becoming slower and deeper. When night finally arrives, the river becomes a polished ribbon of darkness. The stars above shimmer on its surface, stretching their reflections into elongated streaks. The river moves with the same slow patience as before, but the darkness makes it feel deeper, more mysterious, more serene. It flows like a dream, not seen but felt. Let that feeling move through you. Let your body sink into softness. Let your breath become wide and slow, like the river itself. Let sleep drift toward you on the wide, gentle current. A soft welcome drifts your way again, gentle as the cool glow of moonlight settling across a quiet river. Let your body ease into stillness, feeling the slow rise and fall of your breath. The night around you can soften now, settling into your skin like a whisper. Release the day, release the noise, release the weight you've been carrying without even realizing it. You're here now, in a space shaped by calm currents and patient light. If your thoughts already feel a little distant, a little blurred, let them. This is the hour for softness, Imagine a river beneath a full moon, its surface turning into a long shimmering path of pale silver. The water moves slowly, catching the moonlight in pieces, broken reflections that stretch and drift with each ripple. The air is cool and holds the faint scent of night-blooming flowers, damp soil and distant pine. Somewhere along the far bank you hear a soft rustle of leaves as a small night creature steps through the underbrush, its presence so gentle it barely disturbs the quiet. You might picture yourself stepping closer to the river's edge, your feet pressing into the cool sand. The ground is smooth, shaped by countless nights of shifting water. Moonlight glides across your skin, creating a faint glow that moves with each breath you take. The river seems to breathe with you, slow, steady, peaceful. The night sky stretches endlessly above, dark and velvety, pierced by thousands of stars that flicker like distant fires. Their light travels through ages of space before reaching this quiet moment, touching the river and you at the same time. There's a strange comfort in that, knowing that something so ancient can become part of your night. It makes the world feel wide, it makes the air feel deep, it makes your thoughts feel unhurried, as though they too have travelled a long way to settle in this stillness. Imagine dipping your fingers into the river. The water is cool, almost icy at first, then soothing. Moonlight gathers in the small ripples you create, forming delicate patterns that drift away from you. You swirl your hand slowly, feeling the gentle resistance of the river. The sensation grounds you, anchors you, soothes you. You might even feel the faint hum of the water, its quiet motion, its patient shape, its soft strength. Sometimes rivers feel different at night. They feel older, deeper, quieter. As if the darkness reveals something hidden during the day, something ancient beneath the surface that moves with slow certainty. You might sense that depth now, not in a frightening way, but in a comforting one. The river carries its secrets in a gentle current, offering you not answers, but quiet. A breeze passes over the water, stirring the surface into small waves that catch the moonlight in shifting diamonds. The leaves above you rustle faintly. The world whispers. The river listens. Your breath blends into the nighttime rhythm. Stars shimmer in the distance. The moon hangs low, reflected in the water like a glowing path. The river carries its silver light downstream, long and slow and soft. As this chapter drifts toward its end, imagine yourself sinking deeper into the calm of moonlit water. Let the river cradle your thoughts. Let the night wrap around you like a cool blanket. Let your breath fall into the slow pulse of the current. Let yourself drift. Good night.